We always start out by saying you are tuned into LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel by that name, as well as giving a follow and a like on the Facebook page by that name. Now, let's get today's guest on air. Cindy?
Hello, Rita.
Whew. I always take a deep breath to make sure that the person's on the air, and I haven't disconnected them.
No, you're doing good. You're hired.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time here today, Cindy. It's always so nice to have you on the show. Thanks,
and thanks for what you do for everybody, playing good music all the time.
Well, music, especially of the Hudson Valley, man, we got so many great people like yourself here that it's endless, right? The music just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing, and just thank you for being here, taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be here. So I'm going to do a brief introduction, but in the meantime, I'm just going to do a quick interruption and say all those people calling in for Pledge Drive, please continue to call. The phone is in the other room. You're not going to interrupt us here. And I'm only going to say this now and then again after Cindy and I are done talking. The phone number to call to pledge the commercial-free independent radio is 845-437-7178. We accept no payment today. We just get your invoice. We'll send you an invoice. Once we receive it back, you'll get your gifts and your goodies. Again, the phone number to call, Maya's waiting for you, 845-437-7178. And thank you for supporting local radio. All right, now let's start out with the introduction here and say one of the world's finest dobro, lap steel, and steel guitarist Cindy Cashdollar has worked with countless musicians, including Bob Dylan, Van Morrison, Asleep at the Wheel, Ryan Adams, Leon Redbone, Rod Stewart, just to name a few. And she's a 5-time Grammy recipient. Cindy was the first woman to be inducted into the Texas Steel Guitar Hall of Fame. She was also inducted into the Texas Music Hall of Fame and was nominated as Instrumentalist of the Year by the Americana Music Association. This past May, Cindy was honored at Nashville's Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum as part of their Nashville Cats program. She's starting a tour with Sonny Landreth next month, and with that, always a warm and genuine welcome back to LocalMotion, Cindy Cashdollar.
Well, thank you. Boy, you are, you're pro. That's a lot of information.
It is a lot, but it's your career, and you've been on the show like a lot, like every year I have you on at least once or twice. And every time I do more homework, and every time, Cindy, I learn more about you. And I listened, I think I was texting you the other day, I was listening to the Nashville Cats interview that you did when you were honored back in May. And I learned some stuff I didn't know about you. And I thought that was really cool. And I suggest any listener that wants to learn more about you to search out your Facebook page, the musician page, the Cindy Cashdollar, and listen to that interview, because it really does say a lot and show a lot of really cool pictures as well. So yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff.
That was the amazing thing for that. The Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Nashville is such an incredible place to go. I always tell people, people ask me, what should I do when I go to Nashville? That's one of the first things I say, because it's an incredible museum. The displays are beautiful, and they just keep instilling more and more really cool programs. And Nashville Cats is something they've done since 2006, and it honors all of us side musicians and backup singers, all the people, as they say, are kind of faceless.
Yeah, but you're the face. But you guys are what makes the band. That's what people forget. I mean, it's not just like that one lead singer or guitarist. He or she would be nothing without the side band. So you're equally.
Well, it's great that they've honored quite a number of people, and it was a beautiful event. It's in the Ford Theater, which is a really nice theater in there, and they have a moderator on stage, and your life flashes before you on a big screen on the stage. They did a montage of a lot of performances, and and I think there was 50 photos scanned. They didn't show 50 photos, of course, but it was a lot of it was interesting for me because I just never sat down and just looked at it all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
So it was really great, and John Hall, who I'm sure a lot of listeners know from Orleans and from his work as a congressman and from his work as a songwriter, is living in Nashville now, so he accompanied me on 2 songs. And a good friend from here, Connor Kennedy, was there, and it was just really a great day.
It was. It looked like such a wonderful day, and of course your hubby was there too, and it was so cool. Now your history, Harvey, of course. Your history.
Harvey Citron, who scanned all those photos.
Who scanned? He's your biggest supporter and your number one fan. I remember before you guys even got married, and I think you were still living in Austin, and I had seen Harvey at the Levon Helm Studios for one show, and he and I were talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to Austin tomorrow to see my girl," and he was just like, he's totally like, loves you, and it's so apparent, and he was just so sweet. And every time I see Harvey, I just think of that, because I see him like, helping you and building you beautiful instruments and at shows, and he's a real nice supporter of your music and your career.
He certainly is. He definitely is number one.
Yeah.
Number one in lots of ways.
Yeah, well, a lot of people need that number one in some way, so I'm glad you got Harvey. It was pretty cool. I actually didn't know about that story that you did mention on Nashville Cats about getting together back in 2013, and you were doing some sort of a performance and you needed a luthier, and he's the only one that responded to you.
Yeah, that was talk about stress. I was invited to perform at the Iridium in New York City with the Les Paul Trio, and this is after Les Paul had passed away, but for a long time while Les Paul was still alive, and then after he passed, the tradition was to invite a guest musician to perform with the Les Paul Trio, and it's always on a Monday night. So I flew in to this area over the weekend, and on Sunday I got out my steel guitar in preparation to go over all the music for Monday night, and plugged my steel guitar in, and no sound. The airlines had done some electronic damage. So after calling a few people, I was given a list of people to repair, possibly. Harvey was the only one that called back. So thank you, Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, you can thank them. Normally we curse the airlines, but now looking back at it.
Of course, and I do it all the time, except for that.
Yeah. No, that was great. And every time I've talked with you, because it's, every few months or so that you're on the show, or once or twice a year, everybody always asks you the same questions. Is that really your name? And are you from Woodstock? But both of those things hold true. Yes, Cashdollar really is your name, and you really are born and bred in Woodstock. And just talk a little bit, if you would, about your family's history there.
Well, the Cashdollar family goes back a long ways, and my grandparents, Juanita Everett Cashdollar, had a dairy in Wittenberg, Locust Grove Dairy, which serviced the Woodstock area. And my great-grandmother, Sarah Cashdollar, did quite a lot in Woodstock. She opened a restaurant and a little cafe called The Nook, which is right in town, and had a boarding house, and used to deliver milk up to Overlook Mountain House when that hotel was happening.
Wow. And
also had owned and operated the first switchboard that was in Woodstock. And my great uncle Albert Cashdollar was a town supervisor, and so there's some roots here, from Wittenberg to Woodstock and beyond.
Yeah. And you starting out in music, I heard you say that your mom had a really great record collection that you started listening to, and that your dad was a fan of country music.
Yeah, I had very good, quite an eclectic collection of music. That my mom had a lot of records of what came to be known as world beat music later on, but she loved Ravi Shankar, she loved Olatunji, She had records of Japanese flute music. She loved jazz, so aside from Dave Brubeck, there would be Stan Getz records, and so there was that from her side, and my dad loved listening to country music on the radio.
Wow.
So I got it all, and then growing up in Woodstock, of course, during the late 60s, there was so much music here, always, but especially from late 60s on. I think maybe I was 13 or 14 when I went to the Sound Out festivals that were no longer, of course, happening. That was right before the Woodstock Festival. And then later on, there was the Slate Hill Cafe and Joyous Lake. But all those places, for whatever reason, I guess they weren't courting anybody.
Right. Yeah. But, different days.
And being able to see Happy and Artie Tom live and all the great music that Joyous Lake had with Bonnie Raitt and Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee and Pine Top Perkins and Willie Dixon. It just so much music to absorb at that time. And the first live concert I saw was at the Woodstock Playhouse. I think I was around maybe 12 or 13. It was a benefit for John Harold, whose home had burned down. And so it was quite a list of people that played there, Happy and Artie Traum and Van Morrison. And so it was just interesting that in much later years, I worked with some of those people, Jim Rooney. So it was really a great place to grow up. And my brother Russell is a great drummer, and so he absorbed a lot of this area too.
Yeah.
So I think it was a wonderful place to grow up. I always wanted to go to Berklee School of Music when I got old enough, and I just, I couldn't read music, couldn't write music, so, that was just, it was not a very reasonable choice, but I think the best education that I got really was here.
Sure. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, look at what you just mentioned, right? And all the people who really were your teachers. I mean, just...
And Levon and Rick, Levon Helm, Rick Danko, Paul Butterfield. So it was a melting pot, and I think the best school of arts and music that anybody could have at right at hand.
Right, absolutely. Like you walk out your door and you just go into town and look at what you've got right at your disposal, right at your hands. All these amazing musicians.
Yeah. John Sebastian.
And now it's so cool because you're actually friends with these guys. I know you and John Sebastian and Happy Traum. You guys all hang out. You're friends, and it's pretty neat.
It is. We just did a concert. I think it was in July at the Maverick.
Yeah.
With Happy and John Sebastian and Eugene Ruffalo and Dave Mansfield and Ryan Berg. And I love playing the Maverick. That is a gorgeous theater here in Woodstock.
It truly is. And this is the last weekend of Maverick too, because it's a seasonal theater. But what a treasure it is in the Hudson Valley, the Maverick concerts.
Yeah, and the Woodstock Playhouse too. We're very lucky. I know there's not as many music clubs as there once was before, but what there is it's good. It's quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. And not for nothing,
and the Falcon.
Yeah, well, listen, that's in a world all of its own, and yeah, absolutely. But, even just Woodstock, the town, I mean, Colony's got it going on, and Bearsville Theater, and then you've got Levon Helm Studios, you've got Maverick on a seasonal thing, and you've got the smaller places there, too, even Catskill Mountain Pizza and Pearl Moon and, the Mill Street place there. I mean, everybody's music's really making a nice comeback in Woodstock.
It is, and none too soon. It was a long hiatus.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Cindy, I understood, and the other thing I didn't know that I learned by doing my homework is that the day after you graduated high school, you moved down to Florida.
Yes, I did. And I just not one more winter in Woodstock am I going to endure. So, a friend of mine and I, we to Fort Lauderdale. Not the greatest place, but that's where we went. And, series of waitressing jobs in all kinds of places, diners and and all kinds of various vicinity places. But that is where I had, played in my first band, which was really an acoustic trio, and played Happy Hour.
Is that the Whiskey Before Breakfast band?
No, that Whiskey Before Breakfast was in Woodstock. This was two gentlemen whose names I cannot recall. I cannot recall their last names. Rick and Colby is all I remember. They were great. I wasn't playing any, dobro or anything then, just guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just a bass and two guitars and vocals. But we did pretty good at this little dive across from the beach.
Yeah.
And then some months later, I moved to Key West just to have some fun, and I did. Key West was beautiful then. It was pretty dead, which was great. It was not the tourist place that it is now.
Right.
And then back here to Woodstock.
Yep.
And it was in the winter. I came back here in the winter. And the old, poor 67 Falcon, I had bought this old car, and I think it died on the way up the hill, up on Meads Mountain.
Oh,
it was a winter time. But anyway, made it back. Glad I did. A lot in between, but I always seem to come back here.
Right. Woodstock is home, right? It's home.
Of course.
Your first instrument was guitar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just regular guitar. And my guitar teacher was Billy Fair, who some people might remember, who was a fixture on the village green for many years, just playing banjo. But he was also a really good guitar player. So he gave me lessons, and Russ, I think my brother Russ took lessons for a little bit. But I didn't start playing resonator guitar, or dobro, as a lot of people know it, until many years later. I think I was about 21, 20 maybe. My teachers were Ronnie Sutton and Charlie Ferrara. And
what drew you to
teachers.
It? What drew you to that?
When I came back from Florida, I was waitressing at a little bar here called, I'm trying to remember, Rose's Cantina. That's right. And on Rock City Road, and I saw Ronnie Sutton, a dobro player, playing in a bluegrass band at Rose's one night, and just loved the sound of it, and walked up to Ronnie on the break and said, "Hey, do you give lessons?" I was just so taken with the sound, and he said, "No, I'm not giving lessons, but Charlie Ferrara is." That was his teacher. So I got in touch with Charlie, and he came over to my house so many times during the week for over a year, loaned me his instrument, and that's how it all started. It's all his fault, really.
It's all his fault. Oh, man. Well, we're glad that you followed up with that. That's for sure. And you also, the other thing I didn't know is that you took up lap steel, and you had gotten one from Levon Helm.
Yeah, that was... For a while, I was playing with Levon and Rick acoustically, and then Levon expanded the band to the Woodstock All-Stars. And, the dobro that was doing fine when it was just a little acoustic group was not cutting it with two drummers and electric guitars. So the pickups that they were making back then for dobros were really awful. They couldn't really get loud, and they would make all these squealing feedback sounds. And the Levon said, "I've got this weird-looking lap steel you should try." And it's a very bizarre instrument called a mellow bar, and it had like 10 strings on it. It was really made for pedal steel players who wanted to stand up and play. But I didn't know what to do with 10 strings. I just used 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I took 4 strings off and borrowed an amp from Rick and just made it work.
And made it your own. And wow, that's really cool. Yeah, that was another thing I learned too. And then, how did you get connected? Because you spent about 5 years, I think, with Leon Redbone, right? How did you guys get connected?
I heard that he was looking for a dobro player, and that must have been in '87, I think. And through a series of phone calls, I got to his manager that said, well, yes, Leon is looking for a dobro player. And by the way, he's playing in West Nyack tomorrow night.
Oh, wow.
And bring your dobro. He was playing a club called the Turning Point.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went to sound check, and then he asked me to do the gig that, later in the evening. And then when it was all done, he said, well, we're going on the road. When can you leave?
Oh, man.
So I said, well, just give me a couple of days, because they were just doing in and around the tri-state area.
Right.
So that was how I hooked up with Leon, and it was a wonderful and very interesting 5 years of recording and touring with him.
Oh, my! And you got to be on the Johnny Carson show.
Yeah, we did the Johnny Carson show the last month, I think, that Johnny was there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's easily YouTubed. But
yes.
Johnny loved Leon, because Leon was such a character. And he had him on quite a bit. But Leon always got the couch, which was a cool thing. But that was a thrill. It was so thrilling, and talk about nerves. I was not I hadn't been on TV very much.
Sure.
For a couple of times on the Nashville network, so it wasn't like a big NBC.
Right.
So anyway, that was nerve-wracking, but just amazing.
The video was really cool because it was part of that Nashville Cats, segment that you did, and they played part of that interview with Leon Redbone when you were with him on the Johnny Carson show, and it was kind of cool to see you back in the late '80s.
It was really fun, after you get over the nerves. But it's such a shame, when you get nervous about stuff. I think, that kind of weird stress takes over, and so you're not able to just sit back and take everything in.
Right.
But, I just remember bits and pieces of it, of course, and that performance was really fun. It was always fun to play with Leon, such a character, and such a great musician, too, and stylist.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then you moved to Nashville for a short time.
Yeah, for 6 months.
Yeah, because you got a great phone call to get your butt down to Austin, because how did that happen?
Oh, with a sleep at the wheel, I, Nashville, it was kind of a naive move. I just moved there thinking that, move to Nashville and hear about some better gigs, because Leon at that point wasn't really working too much. He was still touring, but not a lot. So I thought, okay, Nashville, and I knew like 3 people there, and that was it. But anyway, it was, I heard that Asleep at the Wheel, who I knew about, they were, my favorite. There weren't a lot of bands doing Western swing, especially the way, they were doing all-encompassed Western swing, which is like country jazz swing. And I heard that their steel player was leaving, and so I was told that they were going to pull into town the next day to do a national network TV show. So I went and just waited in the parking lot with my little promo pack that I had made before moving, and just knocked on the bus. I could see the cones. I knew where the bus was going to pull up. So I just waited for the bus to pull up and knocked on the door and said, can I please speak with your steel player? Because I didn't want to say, hey, I hear your steel player's quitting.
Right. Right.
So he came out of the bus and I said, is it true you're leaving? Yes. Can you please, give the boss my promo pack? And so that's how that happened.
Man.
So it was some months later that I had to move to Austin. They were based out of Austin, and they toured way too much to be able to just keep flying somebody back and forth.
Right. Right.
So,
right. And then you spent
there
10 years with
10
them.
years. Mm-hmm.
And 3 Grammys.
10 years. I think it was 5 with them.
5 with Asleep at the Wheel. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And wasn't that the same, like, weren't you at the Grammys ceremony, and that was the year that Bob Dylan won for Best Album, which you also played on?
Yes, that was for his Come on Mine. And I was still at the Wheel, but Ray Benson, the leader, gave me time off to do the Time Out of Mind album with Bob Dylan. I did the tracks that were recorded in Miami at Criteria. So yes, we were at that those Grammys, because I think we were also up for one that year, and we were playing the party afterwards.
Wow.
So yeah, that was it's always, this really a fun, obviously fun show just to attend, to people watch. It was my favorite thing, just to watch the people coming in.
Yeah.
To see little Richard and his entourage, and just all these people that you spot going in and out.
All in one place, all together. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. You know what picture I really loved when I was watching that thing? That picture was with you, Bob Dylan, Tony Garnier, Larry Campbell, and oh my God, that was a great picture.
And Ray Benson.
Oh, and Ray Benson was in there too, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
we were all in Hawaii. We were all there, and Sleep at the Wheel had a night off, and we were invited to go. We didn't see Bob play. I think we played the same night, but we went to their hotel afterward, and that's where that picture was taken.
Oh,
everybody looks tan and happy.
Right. Oh my God. Oh, that was so fun. Just see that photo. I was like, man, these guys are living it up on this one. So it's really, really, really cool. And Cindy, you've played with so many great people. I mean, we could talk forever about the people that you played with, like Merle Haggard, Marty Stewart, Willie Nelson. Your career is just amazing. I loved seeing you at the Bearsville Theater with Carolyn Wonderland and Shelley King. And it's just like when you see a bunch of women on stage being badasses. That was one show. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how much I loved that show. I think that was sometime last fall that you guys were at Bearsville Theater, and you just killed it.
Oh, that's right. God, it seems like a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
They are such amazing women. And such hardworking people, and I love it. Whenever I get the chance to play with them, I am just in seventh heaven. They are so good. Carolyn, they're both such great songwriters, and just dear, sweet, kind-hearted people to hang out with and have a friendship with, and then to get to play music with them is really the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
and that was a really great show. That's a beautiful theater. And we had a very good time that night, because since, of course, I've moved back here from Austin, I've been back here since 2015, I don't get to see them that much.
Right. Right.
So I'm hoping to get Carolyn and Shelley and Marcia Ball back here to maybe do another combination group that we did once with Amy Helm, Woodstock Lone Stars. That would be great.
That would be wonderful.
If we could recreate, I can't just wave a magic wand.
Wow.
The logistics are crazy between everybody's schedules.
Right.
It's worse than herding cats.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No, I'm sure.
Go, I'm free that week. And sure, I can take that flight. And yes, I think I have that day before the show to rehearse. The logistics are crazy.
Right.
So that's why it just doesn't. A lot of people ask me why we haven't done that show in so long, but that's why it's pretty impossible.
Right.
Especially with Marcia Ball, who is touring heavy. But things have changed a bit, as we all know, since COVID.
Right.
So everyone's kind of back at it again.
Yeah.
But it's always in the back of my mind to try and recreate that.
That would be amazing.
At some point in time.
I think that would be amazing. You also recently went back out with Rory Block, Sisters of the Slide. And I saw you guys.
Yeah, we only did. Yeah. We only did one show this year. Yeah. The
it was just the one. Yeah.
This year it was just the one show.
I remember seeing you in Ithaca opening up for Richard Thompson at the State Theater in Ithaca. You did with Rory. You opened up with Richard Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
2-3 years ago.
And he came out.
Yeah.
Yes, and he came out and did a song with us, and that was really beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that was a really special moment. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great, and most every year he he's back here. I think it's coming up actually at Full Moon in Big Indian, where he does his guitar camp. I do believe that's coming up shortly.
Oh, that's
actually the beginning of October.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they've got, that's an amazing place up there, the Full Moon Resort, with all the people that they have coming up there. It's just insane to do those camps, you know. So
I would strongly urge anybody who's interested in songwriting or guitar, any type of musical workshop. They have a lot of great performers there heading these workshops. Jimmy Weaver recently had his Camp Cripple Creek, and they recently had a songwriting workshop of Rachel Yamagata and a lot of other amazing songwriters there. So I think they offer so much, and it's such a beautiful place for people. I mean, people come there. When I'm there, people are there from Australia and Japan, but the accommodations, the food, there's entertainment every night. There's jamming for the students after the concerts at night. So I think it's really a good one-stop shopping place for people that want to learn just about anything to do with music.
Right. And that's the Full Moon Resort. What, I know it's up on 28. What is that? What town is that? Not Phoenicia.
It's Big Indian.
Big Indian. Okay. Yeah. Full Moon Resort in Big Indian. Yeah. Now you are going to go out on the road. You have quite a few dates scheduled with your buddy Sonny Landreth.
Yeah, we are leaving at the end of this month on September 29th. It's a 10-day tour, and then we're home for a couple of weeks, and we go back out the first week of November, and then back out again February, March, and April.
That's so great. That's so great. You are also going to be locally. Let's talk about the Egg up in Albany on Sunday, October 2nd, with Sonny Landreth. So people can get tickets at theegg.org to see Cindy with Sonny Landreth on Sunday, October 2nd. CindyCashdollar.com, also your website to keep up with all the great places that you're playing and all the things you're doing.
It's on there.
It is.
We'll be in New York City too. It's a City Winery.
Yes.
In New York. Let me see. I've got my schedule here because I have to keep up with you doing your homework. Looking for the date. It's on Tuesday, October 4th. We'll be at City Winery in New York.
Nice. And then Sunday the 2nd up in Albany at the Egg. So whatever part of the area you're at, you can go check it out, whether New York City or Albany or wherever, Boston, wherever you are.
All points beyond. We'll be way beyond.
Absolutely. Your latest release, Waltz for Abilene, I'm going to play this track when you and I are done in a few minutes. Talk to me about this track I'm playing.
Seychelles, which is very difficult to say.
Thank you. That's why I needed you to pick that up. Yes.
I think of the Seychelles Islands. It's Seychelles. It's an old traditional song. Seychelles. Can't find any information on it. Sonny and I did Beausoleil, the contemporary Cajun band. We did their 25th anniversary tour. And they played that, Beausoleil played that particular song every night, and they played it so fast and great and full of energy, but I always thought the melody was so gorgeous, and I wanted to slow the song down, just to showcase the melody. And so Sonny, who I know is known for just blazing, screaming, and searing electric guitar, slide guitar. He just got off the road with John Hyatt and the Goners. But for that particular track, we just did acoustic. We did an acoustic treatment of the song.
Yeah, we're going to take a listen to that momentarily. So, this is a great CD. I play it a lot. 13 tracks.
And thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Absolutely. Waltz for Abilene. A lot of friends joining you on lots of different tracks. CindyCashdollar.com. This album was released in 2020. Available wherever you get your music. CindyCashdollar.com. Cashdollar. Cindy, you're a treasure. You are, you know how you were talking like when you were growing up and you had all these people in Woodstock to look up to. Well, you have become one of them now. And this is when people think of Woodstock, they think of you. And they think of, Cindy's from Woodstock. And you are exactly what you were looking up to when you first started out and you were a young teenager in Woodstock. So now you're one of the royalty, the Woodstock royalty. And we're so lucky to have you.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Well, you're quite welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And you are all that. And you are loved. And you are an incredible player. Whatever you play, whenever I've seen you, you add to everything that anybody can play. You are just unique in your style, and it's just elegant to watch you. And I can't say enough about catching you for a live show wherever you're playing, whether it's with Sunny, whether it's at the Falcon, whether it's sitting in with Asleep at the Wheel, because I know you were just kind of with them doing their 50th anniversary tour where you did a few shows with them.
Last year, that was so fun. Well, first of all, 50th anniversary, wow. Obviously, I wasn't with them for 50 years.
Right.
But Ray Benson, Ray Benson, keeping a band going of a genre that is either unknown or it just has a little niche, but Western swing, right? But that was a wonderful tour. We played the Kennedy Center. That was last October, so almost a year ago, and the Grand Ole Opry, and we had some of the alumni members with us, and that was really a very fun tour. The 50th anniversary record is out as well.
And I'm going to play a track of that, the one that you sent me, Take Me Back to Tulsa. So I'm going to play your track with Sunny now, and then I'm going to go out with the Ray Benson, Willie Nelson, and George Strait with Asleep at the Wheel.
Well, I will tell everyone to roll up the rug and put on your dancing shoes.
All right. I love it. I love it. Cindy, I hope to see you.
And a shout out to, thanks. I hope to see you soon too. And a shout out to all the listeners who are supporting the station, supporting your show. It's a wonderful show.
Thank you.
Shout out and love to Craig and Joanne out there if they're listening.
Aww.
And to the Falcon and just to all our friends.
All our
homies. Thank you, Rita, so much. Really,
our homies.
Sincerely for all the homies, all the people. But thank you, Rita, sincerely for always supporting live music here in the Valley. And I see you out at so many shows, which is wonderful.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Smile to see you there. So thanks for your support.
You're welcome. And my goodness, it's my pleasure. And thank you for everything you do. Have a great time with Sunny. And I know you will. And I do look forward to seeing you soon and having a nice big hug and just listening to your beautiful music. So thank you for everything you do for live music. And Cindy Cashdollar, travel well, be safe. Big hugs to Harvey. And I'll catch you out there soon.
I hope so. Okay,
all right.
A lot.
Sounds good.
Right,
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Cindy Cashdollar, thank you for time today on the show. If you missed part or all of that interview, I'll be uploading it on the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel, as well as the Facebook page by the same name. Cindy will be playing along with Sunny Landreth at The Egg up in Albany on October 2nd and at City Winery in New York City on October 4th. Let's take a listen to a track of the music she's playing with Sunny Landreth. And it's Pledge Drive. We have a few more minutes to call in and give us a call here now at 845-437-7178. Again, the phone number to call to make a pledge to support live, local, independent, commercial-free radio is 845-437-7178. We do not take any payment today. We'll just get some info. We'll mail you an invoice, and then after we receive payment, you get all kinds of premiums. We're offering lanyards, T-shirts, tote bags, hoodies. It depends on what level you donate is what your prize will be. So give us a call here, 845-437-7178, and let's take a listen to music by Cindy Cashdollar right now, 91.3. 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Cindy Cashdollar, latest release, Waltz for Abilene. We heard the track with Sonny Landreth called C'est Chalie, and I know I'm saying that wrong, so I apologize in advance. Cindy Cashdollar, today's guest here on Local Motion on 91.3 WVKR. We have about 8 minutes left to the show, so we're still accepting calls. Caroline, thank you for your pledge. Dennis, thank you. Dan, thank you. Bob, thank you. Cherry Top Dairy Bar, thank you. Joe, thank you. Hawken, thank you. Craig, thank you. Thank you to everybody who's taken a little bit of time out of their day today to call in to pledge for the annual WVKR Pledge Drive. We only do this once a year, so next week we'll return to regular programming. But thank you. Sincere thanks to everyone who's contributed. You can still donate. You can call anytime. You can even go online. But if you want a premium, like a T-shirt or something, you do need to call in. The phone number here is 845-437-7178. No payment is needed today. We just get some information. We mail you an invoice. Once you send us the payment, we'll give you some prizes. So you can... Any donation size is good. $5, $50, $25 gets you a T-shirt. Really nice quality T-shirt, too. You're going to want to be seen in this T-shirt. Trust me. Really cool color. You can check out WVKR on Facebook and on Instagram, and you can see some of the prizes that we're giving away, or premiums, I should say. And you can give us a call right now and get your very own. 845-437-7178. I'm going to come back in a minute, but let's do this other track. Let's play this right now. This is the one we were talking about with Cindy. This is from Asleep at the Wheel with George Strait and Willie Nelson, and featuring today's guest, Cindy Cashdollar. And again, the phone number here, 845-437-7178. Thank you in advance.
With a red dress on, some folks called her Dinah. Stole my heart away from me way down in Louisiana. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry.
Well, she went down to the railroad tracks and I went there to meet her. She pulled up her petticoats and I pulled out the Tulsa. Take me back.
91.3 WVKR. Don't know what happened, but let's try it again.
Back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Oh, Jason Roberts. Yeah.
Like to go to Tulsa, you can bet your boots that I would. Drop me off in Archer and I'll ease right down to Greenwood. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Oh yeah.
Why, it's Cindy, I'll do it.
91.3 WVKR. Just want to interrupt before my time is up. It is almost 6 o'clock, and Dr. J will be continuing with his show, Irie Groove, as well as continuing with Pledge Drive. Pledge Drive continues here until September 12th, and you can always pledge online at wvkr.org, but if you want a premium like a t-shirt or tote bag or a hoodie or something, you need to give us a call here in person. So give us a call. You can even call right now. I'll even pick up the phone. I'll be back next week. Every week I'm here from 4 to 6 p.m. I'll be back next week. And next week my guest will be Lara Hope from the O Positive Festival. And in 2 weeks I'll be speaking with Mira Blaustein from the Woodstock Film Festival. In 3 weeks, Carl Gutowski from Howland Chamber Circle, and Larry and Teresa in 4 weeks. We've got a great lineup this fall, so don't miss it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as giving a like and a follow on the Facebook page, Local Motion on 91.3 WVKR. If you'd like to give a